Imagine waking up tomorrow with $10,000 in your bank account. Not a million, not a luxury car, not a mansion, just $10,000. Most people think that amount is too small to matter. But according to many wealthy people, your first $10,000 is the most important money you will ever make. Because the first $10,000 is not about the money. It is proof. Proof that you can earn. Proof that you can save. Proof that you can stay disciplined. And proof that you can change your life. The truth is, the hardest part of becoming wealthy is not making millions. The hardest part is escaping zero. And once you cross that first $10,000 milestone, everything starts to change. Most people spend years trapped in the same cycle. They earn money. They spend money. Then they wait for the next paycheck. Month after month. Year after year. And because they never build savings, every emergency feels like a disaster. Every unexpected expense creates stress. Every bad month pushes them backwards. But the moment you reach your first $10,000, you begin to build something most people never have. Momentum. In this video, we are going to talk about why your first $10,000 changes everything, why it is so hard to reach, and how it can completely transform your mindset, your confidence, and your future. The first $10,000 is difficult because you are building from nothing. When you start at zero, every dollar feels small. Saving $50 does not feel exciting. Saving $100 feels slow. You look at people online making millions, and you think your progress means nothing. But that is exactly why most people fail. They underestimate the power of small amounts. The truth is, building your first $10,000 requires something much more valuable than money. It requires discipline. You have to say no to things other people buy. You have to avoid wasting money. You have to stop trying to look rich. Most people spend money to impress people who do not care. They buy expensive clothes, expensive phones, expensive
shoes, and expensive habits. But wealthy people understand something different. Looking rich and being rich are not the same thing. The person with designer clothes might be broke. The person quietly saving and investing might become wealthy. That is why the first $10,000 is hard. Because it forces you to become a different person. The moment you save your first $10,000, your life becomes less stressful. Because now, if something goes wrong, you are not destroyed. Your car breaks down? You can handle it. You lose your job? You have time. An emergency happens? You do not need to panic. This is why poor people often stay poor. Not because they are lazy, but because they are always in survival mode. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, you cannot think about the future. You only think about today. But once you have money saved, your brain changes. You stop making desperate decisions. You stop accepting bad situations. You stop feeling trapped. Money may not buy happiness. But money absolutely buys freedom. And freedom changes everything. Most people do not realize that money is emotional. When you have no savings, you feel weak. You feel behind. You feel like life controls you. But after your first $10,000, you start seeing yourself differently. Because now you know you can do something difficult. You know you can delay gratification. You know you can stay consistent. You know you can control your habits. And once you prove that to yourself, you stop doubting yourself. That confidence spreads into every part of your life. You become more focused. You become more patient. You become more ambitious. Because you realize something powerful. If you can save $10,000, then maybe you can save $50,000. Maybe you can invest $100,000. Maybe you can build a business. Maybe you can become financially free. Everything starts with believing it is possible. Your first $10,000 is important for another reason.
It is the moment your money can start working for you. Most people only know how to work for money. They trade time for income. But rich people do something different. They make money work while they sleep. Let us say you invest $10,000 wisely. If it grows at 10% per year, that money becomes much bigger. You are no longer depending only on your job. Now you have an asset growing in the background. And once you understand compounding, you stop wasting money on things that lose value. Because every unnecessary purchase starts to feel expensive. That $500 phone upgrade, that could become thousands in the future. That expensive dinner every weekend, that money could have been invested. Wealthy people think differently because they understand opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend is a dollar that cannot grow. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people will never save $10,000. Not because they cannot, but because they never make it a priority. They always find reasons to spend. They always say they will start later. They always believe they need to earn more before they can save. But saving money is not about how much you make. It is about how much you keep. There are people making huge salaries who are still broke. And there are people making average incomes who slowly become wealthy. The difference is habits. Your financial future is not built by one big decision. It is built by hundreds of small decisions. The decision to save. The decision to invest. The decision to avoid wasting money. The decision to think long-term. That is what separates successful people from everyone else. If you are still at zero, do not feel discouraged. Everyone starts there. Your first $10,000 may feel impossible right now. But remember this. Nobody becomes wealthy overnight. Every rich person you admire started small. They saved their first dollar, then their first 100, then their first 1,000, and eventually, they reached a point where money stopped controlling them. That is the goal. Your first $10,000 is not the finish line. It is the beginning. Because once you reach it, you are no longer just surviving. You are finally building. And once you start building, everything changes. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Wealth Empire Vision for more videos about money, success, mindset, and financial freedom. Comment below. What was the first amount of money that changed your life? And remember, the first $10,000 is the hardest. But after that, the journey becomes much easier. Scene-by-scene image prompts for why your first $10,000 changes everything.